What is good, agency owners? Have a dope conversation today. Another 8F success story. Cory Young, founder of the BCC Interactive. We've been able to have the pleasure of working with this guy, and he went from having no time to actually becoming a CEO, having the time to choose where he invests his time, building good operations, and adding 20K recurring revenue along the way. So, Cory, thank you for coming on. For those of us listening that don't know you, watching that don't know you, who's Cory? What is the BCC
Well,
Interactive?
thank you for having me. Um, so I am a former, let's say, corporate rat race guy who, stumbled into entrepreneurship, and I didn't have an idea that it was even possible until it became, realer than real. So BCC is a SEO and content marketing agency that I started in 2017. Um, I've been doing freelance for even longer than that, and I've been in the digital marketing game for um, about 15 years at this point. Um, so yeah, that's yeah,
It's
it
been a
has been
hot
a hot
minute,
minute.
yeah. And we so SEO. I think SEO is one of the best business is to run because when you get the right client for SEO who understands
Hmm.
what SEO is, like you could have them for at least 12 months minimum if it's
Yep.
the right client. Keywords right client, because you get the wrong client, they're in and out. Like it's 3 months. Where are my leads? You didn't understand the
Yep.
assignment, sir. But let's talk about where we were when
Sure.
we started. I'll give a quick recap, and I want to let you know, like, fill in the gaps for the listener. So, what I have when we met you, I have down that you were running everything. You didn't have time. Operations were disjointed with two VAs and not sure how to utilize
Yeah.
them. And like we didn't really have outbound even going. So, like, tell us the story. Why'd you come to ADAP? What were
Hmm.
you looking for when we
Yeah, for
first
sure.
met,
So,
so to speak?
like you said, I was running everything. I'm running the operations. I'm running the, marketing for the business, which is virtually non-existent because I'm running everything in house. And was fortunate that a lot of my clients were satisfied and would pass along the word. So I was getting a lot of referrals as the lifeblood of the business. But I realized that you, that's not necessarily sustainable. Number one, and number two, my life was hectic. I had just come from I was working a full time job, and I was running an agency at the same time. Um, so
Which
yeah,
is
I
tough.
would jump from a meeting at my full time job to a meeting in the agency. Somebody has a question, but I'm hopping from one to the other, and it's just chaos. I've only got maybe an hour or two to myself, and that's at like 6 o'clock. So it was chaos. It was stressful, and I needed to figure out a way to get out of it. And your content specifically spoke to me about um, how to get out, how to have structure in your operations, and basically allow it to kind of free you from a different kind of rat race.
Yeah, yeah. I would say if you're going to have to be in a rat race, it's better to be in a rat race where you could potentially
Yeah.
unlock the freedom of
Hmm.
your time and unlock massive upside. And I tell people coming out of the corporate world, like if you're a high performer, which I believe you are, you're committing yourself anyway. Like you're gonna try to be the best professional you can be. You're gonna work hard. You're gonna stay longer. Like you're gonna do what. But the upside is, hey, you can get if you do really well, you could get a promotion in the next
Hmm.
however many years. I remember when I got promoted at Amazon, I was excited, and then they were like, yeah, you get a 15% bump. And then I was like, 15%? I might not get my next promotion for the next 2 to 3 years. And then it's another
Yep.
15%. And I'm getting 3%. I was like, this is nuts. I'm never going to make what I want to make to like live the life I want to live. So this is better. So let's dive in. We met you at this point. You're everything, disjointed operations, and just entrepreneurial organization and think systems isn't your
Hmm.
skill set.
Yeah.
SEO is. What did we do with you in the initial phases? Because the byproduct was you now have the time to choose where you could work, you could spend time. I know you just
Hmm.
traveled recently. I think you went to
Yes, I
Japan, if I
did.
recall
Yeah.
correctly, like, which is sick. Like a privilege that is freaking sick that you have the choice to do that. So tell us, like, what did we go through that actually freed up your time and built the operations to create the freedom to do what
Yeah.
you want?
So prior to meeting you guys, I was actually working with another consultant who um, didn't necessarily help much at all, clearly, which is why I left. And I was at a point where I was trying to create SOPs, but I didn't necessarily know how to write them in a way that empowered, my team. Also, was trying to do too much instead of empowering my team to go kind of figure it out, and come back to me with their findings, and then we iterate from there. Also, there were a lot of bottlenecks because all of the reviews and everything stopped. The buck stopped with me essentially. So one of the first things that I did was I had a intern who was showing a lot of promise, and I started to immediately delegate more to her and give her more freedom and autonomy to go basically like explore, figure things out. She may not have the same skill set as me, but she was a high performer also. And from the jump, Jerry really helped me put together a strategy, almost a phased approach to say, phase one, the first 30 days, let's say, give her this, then keep giving more and more information, or, more and more freedom for her to kind of grow into that role, which again would free me from having uh, to literally, do everything. I started to build a lot of templates. I started to build project plans, which you guys definitely helped give me like the thought process behind how to structure them, and then ultimately, I ended up hiring that intern as a full time employee because I had the financial means. I didn't have. I couldn't. My issue was I couldn't find a performer to fit the mold that I needed. Someone who understood marketing, someone who understood SEO, and could take some of the reins away from me. And once I brought her on as a full time employee, honestly, my head is like completely out of the clouds. The fog of war is gone at this point. I have time now to focus on growing the business even more. Number one, because it's grown as a product of us being good at what we do, and more people um, wanting to partner with us as a result. But I haven't been great at broadcasting those wins or any sort of thought leadership or anything like that. It's purely been on we get results. Somebody tells their friend, acquaintance, etc., and then on we go. But at the same time, our average client relationship is like 2 years. Um,
Which is
yeah.
insane, right? So just get more clients, you're good. So to kick off, I heard
Hmm.
a few things. Number one, you said the first thing was delegate. I would actually backtrack. The first thing we started to say, we have this person, we want to delegate. Let's build a
Mm.
plan on what are we going to get
Hmm.
off your plate. So it sounds like we tracked a little bit of your time to understand where is your
Correct.
time going, what are you doing. Once we had that, we identified which of those things we need to scope out, so we kind of start to standardize. So process
Hmm.
workflow, maybe some SOPs, some templates. um, Once we had those, then we built a delegate. That's when we had the delegation plan, right? So what's the plan to ramp this intern up over 30,
Yep.
60, 90s, placing her into a more formal training system where we give her access and insights into
Hmm.
these processes, and then
Yep.
cut her loose. right? Like actually let her go and see what happens, right? So we did all that. And let me ask you, for that one
Hmm.
employee who was an intern that converted to employee, how much time did that free up for you? Just doing that process and delegating to that one employee,
Whew. Honestly, it might free up 4 to 5 hours a day.
which is, see, that's
Yeah,
like
it
half your day.
literally
That's
half my
crazy,
day.
right?
Yeah.
So we did all of this and the immediate, and this, that's a longer period. Like we're talking about probably like a 2 to 3 month period, but right out of the gates, I now have half of my
Hmm.
time back, right? So I just want to, once you got half of that time back, what did that feel like? What were the implications on personal and professional life? Like, how did that impact your business? Like, what'd you do with that
Yeah.
time?
So obviously, personally, it allowed me for some just freedom, less stress. I can go on walks. I like to, when it's not scorching hot outside, go for a walk, listen to a podcast, clear my mind a little bit. Around late morning, or even sometimes right when I get up, just as kind of a ritual to like center myself. Additionally, because I wasn't thinking about all the doer tasks, I got to think about what can we do to help us grow. What sort of things from a marketing perspective do I need? What sort of things can I improve from a delivery perspective that because I was too busy doing, I couldn't think about improving. And to be honest, I think uh, all of those things, put them in, put them in a stew, boil them together. They all influence one another. When I'm less stressed, I'm a better thinker. Therefore, more ideas, come to fruition. And I've got the time to flesh them out, as opposed to, running like a chicken with my head cut off and Friday's here before you know it. And I, you know,
100%. Because you
yep.
have the time, right? If you don't have the time, like I've been on paternity leave, and the amount of time, it's just like, God, there's so many ideas that you don't see because you're in the weeds. What are some initiatives that you implemented as a result of having that
Yeah.
time? Just
So
top of mind.
we actually added a couple of different services to our portfolio as a result of me being able to kind of tap back into the growth side of things. So we were like strictly SEO and content marketing. We're now doing paid search, which is another kind of revenue stream for us, which allows us to touch more of the points on the funnel, generate revenue almost instantaneously for businesses while we're also building their pipeline via SEO. That has an immediate
Love that.
impact on our clients and improves our retention rate pretty significantly also.
Yeah. And then you go through the whole process again. All right, we're adding this new service,
Yeah.
adding this template, and then you're back in the, we need to do this whole thing because this is a whole nother department. And just that one thing takes a while. And outside of new service line, which immediately increases LTV, were there any other things? They could even be small, like marketing initiatives, or just what were the other things that you free up your time? I'm going to add a new service line. What other ideas that you had that you were able to implement?
So another one is honestly not even necessarily new. It's something we had tried before as far as like outbound cold email to, as a lead generation strategy, but I was able to put more energy and effort into those those particular strategies, right? I'm able to better prepare because I'm not doing something 5 minutes before a sales call. The sales calls end up being more productive and more in depth. We're looking to also build out an email newsletter as well. So focusing more on content, I was able to build more content on the BCC website because again, I have the time to even think about the value that I could provide people who are visiting our website or looking at my social media profile.
Yeah, brilliant. So from all the, and this is where like the compounding effect happens, right? As an owner, you have this time now, which like you made it. I'll tell you for the listeners, Cory made it seem simple, right? There's a lot of work in there, right? Tracking your time, identifying what to delegate, like building the process, building the structure, building the SOPs, building the workflow, templatizing, building the delegation plan, managing, like then actually you have time taking a breath, right? And then it's like, okay, now it's strategy, add new services, build up some new processes, build out your newsletter, build out cold email. So now and this is where the compounding over, like when you look at a year over year process, like adding new service lines, adding new like attribution sources that get clients, that's how this compounds, right? Because I'm not just focusing on getting the work done, I'm focusing on actually growing this into a business that works for me. And that, it takes a long freaking time. I think people underestimate how long it
Absolutely.
takes, but
Yep.
putting these things in place, like I've been running 8F for 5 years now. It's just in the now, it feels like shit, I want to move faster. But when you look back on a year, like, damn, I accomplished so much. And a lot of times there's a lag, it's a lag, and boom, like you add another 30, 40K, 20, 30, 40K, and then there's a lag, and boom. So Cory, this was a really great overview, right? Like, and for everyone listening, like sometimes there doesn't have to be a million steps that you have to do to free up your time, right? There doesn't have to be all this complicated shit. It could just be, we need to figure out how to delegate 4 to 5 hours off your plate. So then you could just reinvest into building this thing and start actually working on these other things. So Cory, for everyone that wants to learn more about BCC, learn about you, connect with you, maybe look for some support on ads or SEO, where can they connect with you?
So bccinteractive.com is our website. You can find me personally on Instagram at Cory Does Marketing. Same on TikTok, and same on Twitter.
Cory Does Marketing, and that's Cory, not with an EY, it's a CORY.
Correct. Yep.
Because you never know what's the spelling. That's right. Cory, thank you so much. And guys, if you're listening, this can be you next. You could be the next owner, entrepreneur that comes on the show and tells your story. All you got to do is go to the link below, or if you're listening to this on your podcast platform, go to 8figureagency.co/call, book a call with us because we can help you grow. Or in Cory's case, right, grow and get your freaking life and time back, not be so stressed, actually enjoy the journey. Can't stress that enough, right? Cory, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.